All right, traders, the portfolio is currently up nearly 3% on the day. This week, it is up 11%. I've already exceeded my weekly goal. With that being said, within this video, I'm going to be recapping the trades that I ended up making towards the end of this video. As you know, I had a swing trade on SPY call options. I sold it way too soon towards market open, ended up making a little bit over a 10% return on that. Those contracts were up over 80% on the peak today. I also entered a quick scalp on a SPY put options. I was out within a minute for a very, very tiny 2% win. And then I had a nice small trade on VERU where I made a 25% win in a couple of minutes. I'm going to be breaking down the trading strategies, the trade recap towards the end. We are going to be starting off with how to trade the best setups at the best prices. I'm going to be showing you the setups that I'm planning to trade heading into this week. We're going to be going over the top stocks. We're going to be doing an in-depth analysis, price action analysis on the stock market. I'm also going to be recapping the written watch list that I sent out to members within Trader Society. We had some amazing opportunities on that watch list. Unfortunately, I was focused on other trades. I could have done much, much better today. But with that being said, I'm going to be sharing with you the trading strategies, what I did right, and the mistakes that were made as well towards the end of this video. So let's start off with the setups. So in terms of the setups and in terms of what I'm currently seeing right now, I'm a little bit more interested at the moment for the micro in put options. It's just, we got to get the right price, right? We got to see what's going to happen with the Fed tomorrow. And I really got to get the right price on these puts. So in terms of Facebook, the key level that I'm planning to buy put options, betting on the stock to go down, is going to be right here. There's a gap to fill above at 217.31. If we can get to 217.31 this week, I'll be looking to play put options for a move back down to about $210, right? So I'm trying to make about 7 points profit per share on that trade. Going to be buying the put options. That's what I'm looking for on Facebook. The max risk on those will be about 219, right around there. And I'm looking for the gap close reversal. So if we can get resistance, if we can get bearish confirmations to form, it's struggling, it's showing signs of weakness at that level, it's starting to break down. Look for the gap close reversal, ride it back down to about 212, 213. That would be the ultimate target. In terms of Visa, I still think Visa can head lower into this week in terms of where we can currently be at. We can currently be at something like this where it just really sells off and comes right back down to fill the gap. You see how there's a gap to fill right here at $200. Right here it has a little green day. Right here it tried to pump up a little bit. It tried to pump up a little bit. And then it came crashing back down to fill the gap below. So I do believe that Visa stock is due for a gap fill play to 201.10. This was actually the best setup that I had written in the watch list right here, posted at 9:15 a.m. I had stated that Visa, there's a gap to fill at 212.94. Once this reacts as resistance, once it starts breaking down, it's struggling to break out, it's cracking, right? Once it's struggling, I'm expecting a crash to $209. Meaning when you see the stock struggle at 213 and you're getting those bearish confirmations, you can buy the put options, bet on it to go down, ride it back to 209. And that was a perfect A1 setup. As you can see right here, as soon as it hit, and let me show you what it is that I'm talking about. I'm just so disappointed that I missed out on these setup, because these puts would have been up over 100% and I would have been in such a great trading opportunity. So just look at how well this works. You have right here, you have key support and there's a gap to fill below. So when it cracks this, there's no support. It's just going to start to fill the gap below. Right here, it cracks it, it gets crushed, it starts to fill the gap below, it drops all the way to 207. There's a new gap to fill because it gapped down on this day, which was on Monday, and you could see it exploded back up to fill the gap above, right here at 213. As soon as it hit 213, this red line here, to fill that gap, you can see it started to break down to fill the gap below, and then it formed lower highs. So in terms of when was the time to be shorting and when was the time to be adding to the puts, I'll show you. And I'm just so disappointed that I wasn't in on this trade. And I was watching it at the time just for a quick glimpse, a quick moment on the live trading stream. One of the main reasons why I didn't enter is because I was worried it was going to follow the SPY, and SPY was looking micro bullish at the time, but that just wasn't the case. So I'm going to try my best to not let the SPY affect my trades with this strategy in terms of the best strategy that I teach. If you watch that video, the one that's working best 2022 is the one that I showed you on Visa, the gap close reversal to fill the gap below. Here it is working again, guys. So I'm going to try my best to not let the market and not let SPY affect my trades when I'm trading stocks with this core main setup strategy only, because this is the best one. It filled the gap. It came crashing back down, had a reversal, attempted to fill the gap below very quickly, and it formed lower highs. So in terms of, well, when do you buy the puts? When it's forming lower highs, these bearish pins, when it's failing to go back to this previous closing price, it's forming lower highs, it's starting to break down. All of these ovals that I'm showing you are when you buy the puts. Right here, why? Because it filled the gap, had a reversal, came back down to fill this gap below, and it formed lower highs. Bearish pins, bearish pins. That's when you buy the puts. When it breaks down and closes this gap, it's going to pop back up, try to form lower highs. If it reacts as a resistance, which it did right here, you add into lower highs. This is where you add. Why? Because it filled the gap, it cracked, it popped back up, it turned the previous low into resistance, which is bearish. So when it starts breaking down and forming lower highs right around here, you add and you buy more puts. Such a phenomenal trading opportunity using what I preach. You know, this was such an A1 phenomenal setup from the watch list. And then you can see it sold off very hard to 206.27, really trying to fill that gap towards $200. If you go back and watch that video, my best trading strategy that I'm using in 2022 to consistently make money within the market trading options, that's going to be the second link in the description. It literally shows you how I was able to kill it. On this day, I bought put options literally towards the top on Visa, and I made a nice 100% plus return. I could have done it again today if I would have been focused and stuck to the plan and not let SPY affect my trade. So in terms of that setup, this was a gap breakdown right here. When it cracks this support, there is no support, so it's going to try to fill the gap below. So that's what we call a gap breakdown. It was also a gap close reversal to fill the gaps below, gap to fill below here, gap to fill below right here. That was the setup on Visa. So moving forward, once we get a crack under like 200, so this is the game plan. If $208.56 reacts as a resistance, this previous closing price, if that breaks down, reacts as a resistance, we're going to sell off and really start to fill this gap from 201. So if I see it struggling, if I see it reacting as a resistance level, we could see a spike before that. But overall, this is just going to get wrecked. So I'm going to watch for puts towards resistance. I'm also going to watch for the key breakdown towards 208.56. Best resistance level for puts right now would be 213. So that's what I'm looking for on Visa. It looks extremely bearish. If it gaps down tomorrow, we wait for it to rip back to the previous closing price. If it gaps down, we don't go chasing puts right here on the dip. We wait for it to rip back up to fill the gap for the reversal, ride it back down and fill the gap below. That's the game plan on Visa. Very bearish on that. VERU. This was a nice trade. I alerted this today within the main chat on the trading floor. That's where I sent out the alert for this one. I actually bought put options. And just to clarify, in terms of like the best A1 full confidence setups, I alert those in will alerts. And then sometimes if I'm just taking like a quick scalp, which is something I try my best to avoid to do, but if I see something that's a decent setup and I want to trade it, I might alert it on the trading floor. I just want to clarify that, but I'm truly trying to trade the best setups at the best prices, and those will be in the will alert section. But this was a trade where I took a light position size on. And I noticed that on the chart with VERU, you have heavy support, and we went over this in the video, 960. 960 is your heavy support. Once it cracks 960, there's no floor. You see this, it's just a massive gap to fill below at 435. There's no floor. It bounces off 960, it rips to 1370s. We went over this in the last video. It bounces off the 960s, it rips to 1450s. It bounces off the 960s, it rips to 17s. This is a support level that has big upside potential. And if you watch my previous video, I'd explained to you guys why I believe this support level is going to crack, which is why I had mentioned this in the watch list as well. So if you're looking to be self-sufficient, trade the best sets, the best prices, the watch list is going to be the best thing to really utilize. With that being said, you can see right here in terms of VERU, there's a gap to fill at 1030. If this reacts as a resistance level, I'm expecting 930 to crack for a crack to $9. I believe what I meant actually towards the end was $8. But anyways, you can see this was a prime perfect play from the watch list. There was a gap to fill right here, VERU stock gap down. It closed the gap, started to have a reversal. So if it goes above initially, see how it's going above, it's breaking out, you don't buy the puts. You buy the puts when it goes from green to red. Right here is when it went red. That's when you buy the puts, right? When the previous closing price goes red. And you could see it double topped. It had a little rip back up at the double top. But overall, this got absolutely crushed. I ended up getting in at a lower price. I chose to go with the key breakdown instead of the key resistance from the watch list. I went with the 950 key breakdown. I noticed that 960 was key support with big upside. If it cracks 960, instead of having big upside, it's going to have big downside and start to fill the gap below. Which is why I decided to buy the puts for the key breakdown. It just made perfect sense. So as soon as it touched 950, that's when I bought the puts. Literally like right here is where I bought the puts, right here on this candle when it touched that 950, and then it sold off very, very hard in just 15 minutes to 874. The puts were up 25%. I got out at $9. It went to 874. So the puts were probably up like 35 to 45% at the peak on that. So that was a nice scalp, and that's a great key breakdown setup. If you find a stock with a massive gap up and then it forms a support channel towards the gap with big upside, once it cracks that, see these lines, this was all from yesterday's video. Like I said, once it cracks this level and then reacts as a resistance, you buy the puts, play the key breakdown. That was a nice quick 25% win for me. More stocks that I'm looking at, those are really the main ones right now. Those are really the main ones. I'm not seeing too much at the moment. It's going to be more quality, less quantity. We do have to see how things react towards the Fed. I don't like holding through that stuff. I'd rather just wait for the speeches to be done and then see how the market reacts to that price action. That's what I prefer to do. There is a lot of earnings runners. I don't like trading earnings. I don't like holding through earnings. So for those, we just got to give it a couple days, wait for them to play out, right? And the implied volatility is going to be extremely high as well. So we don't want to trade those right away. We got to give them a couple days, but those will be good opportunities within time. In terms of the VIX, this looks extremely bearish. You know, we just triggered dark blue on the squeeze, which is extremely bearish. We triggered dark blue right here. This is very, very bearish. When VIX goes down, SPY goes up. It's just, the thing is, SPY doesn't look that bullish, but VIX looks extremely bearish. So that's where things are getting a little complicated for me to be trading the SPY right now. So the best thing we could really do with the SPY moving forward, like I've been saying, is if we could just wait for this gap to fill above right here at 427.81. Within time, it should fill. It's going to take time. It could be all the way up until next week. But once this gap fills at 427.81, like this gap filled right here towards 428, had a reversal, sold off hard, we're going to be looking for the same thing. We're going to be looking to buy puts, play a gap, close reversal, ride it back down for the sell-off, right? That's the best trading opportunity in terms of put options. What we can see tomorrow, so see how SPY has this big red day here. See how SPY has this big red day right here, right? Same candles. See how it has this trend reversal candle. It has this trend reversal candle, kind of similar candles. Next day's a green day. Next day's a green day. What happens after that second green day? It sells off hard, right? So just by looking at this pattern that I'm showing you, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, what happens on the fourth day? You have a big red day, right? It's just the only thing I don't like about this trade. So I am kind of short. I am kind of micro bearish on the SPY a little bit. The one thing I'm disliking is, though, the VIX looks extremely bearish and it tends to sell off hard when it triggers dark blue on the squeeze. That's the main problem I'm seeing. Another problem that I'm seeing with SPY puts is it bounced off of 52-week lows, had a gap close reversal, and it likes to run for the micro. So last time it bounced this low, it bottomed at 404. It recently bottomed at 405.02. Right here, it got to a high of 417.50, and then it started to sell back off. So in terms of my micro views, for the micro, in terms of like tomorrow, for like the short term, I'm kind of bearish. I'm leaning more on the bearish side. It's just we have to be extremely careful. The VIX looks extremely bearish. Within time, SPY is going to fill that gap at 427. VIX is going to head lower. We could see a micro bounce on the VIX. It's just like this chart looks like def, and you have this dark blue triggered on the squeeze, which is bearish towards resistance. This is the first day it triggered dark blue. VIX had also filled the gap today. You could see when it started to fill the gap, it just sold off hard for a reversal. And it just looks extremely bearish. It looks like a death chart. I mean, if you just go back in history and see how the VIX reacts when it forms dark blue on the squeeze indicator, let me show you some examples. Right here is the first day it hit dark blue. This is the first day it hit dark blue. Same exact candle towards key resistance. It's literally same price. Look what happens. It goes straight to the graveyard, right? Very, very bearish. And then it has a gap close reversal right here. Just to show you another example. VIX triggers the first dark blue on the squeeze indicator right here. Same candlestick, same price, right? It sells off hard. So VIX, and look, here's another example. VIX triggers dark blue right here, sells off hard. VIX looks like it's going straight to the graveyard, which is going to send SPY through the roof. So in terms of SPY puts, I would recommend to wait until the 427s. VIX looks very, very bearish. You can even consider puts, in this situation. And with that being said, in terms of the SPY and key levels that you need to be aware of in terms of the SPY heading into tomorrow, your key level is going to be 416. So let me draw a little zone for you guys. Right now it's at 417. So it is up a little bit in extended hours at the moment. It closed at 416.38, so it is up a little bit. The main thing that I'm seeing for SPY is if 417 to 416 holds, SPY is bullish and it's going to want to rip into the 420s. If 416 cracks, SPY goes bearish and it's going to try to sell off to 414. There's so much strong, heavy support at 414. It's been bouncing off that level in the morning. It was extremely tough to trade SPY. This is why we got to trade at the best setups at the best prices only. Very tough to trade this extremely choppy, sideways, flip-flop. Every time it hit support, it bounced. Every time it hit resistance, it bounced rapidly. And it just wasn't an ideal trade to be in. But one pattern, and we called this out in the main chat, Gear War, the moderator within the chat, and we saw this pattern. We called this out within the main chat. I noticed how yesterday, if you look at what SPY was doing on Monday, it was doing the same thing. SPY was literally doing the same thing. If we just take a look here, pre-market sell-off, morning shop, back and forth, morning shop back and forth, but this time it's at higher support. It's above the high of this morning shop at 414, which is bullish. And then if you look right here, right around 10 a.m. when it went back to the low end of that morning shop supply zone, that sideways price channel, it ripped up like crazy. It went from 410 to 416 very quickly, and then it sold back off. And you could see today in terms of that pattern, and I mentioned this in the main chat, some people played SPY calls based off of this pattern. So keep in mind, what I'm showing you is this is just price action, and this is just based off of history repeating itself. This is a setup, it is a trade, but it's not the best trade. The best trades, like I said, are those gap close reversals to fill the gaps below. Those are my favorite ones. This is simply just trading price action and making a trade based off of history repeating itself. Not my favorite strategy, but this is something that you can use to stack to a strategy that you use. So I can use what I'm showing you to a strategy that I trade, gap close reversal, and then I can add this on. If I see the pattern with the history, if I see some sort of pattern, you can trend stack, you can add these things on to your trades, price action, right? History repeat itself. Those are things you can add on to your favorite strategies. Trading them solely alone though is something I don't like doing. So with that being said though, if you just study the pattern, sideways chop in the morning, and then you have the rip towards 10 right here, the rip at 1040. It did the same thing, and it literally ripped like 4 points very, very quickly. So I identified that pattern, and I did mention that within the trading floor, except this time it didn't sell off. It maintained, and now it's up during after hours. So if we break above the 417s, we start ripping above 418s, SPY is going to be bullish, and we will be on track for 420s within time to fill the gap at 427. So that's my thoughts. That's my analysis. The reason why it's really tough in terms of right now. Like I'm leaning towards like a micro bearish play on SPY. It's just the problem is there's a gap to fill above at 427.81, and VIX looks very, very bearish. That's the issue right now. So from an overall standpoint, in terms of like short-term macro, it looks like SPY wants to fill the gap, and it looks like VIX wants to go lower. I mean, I showed you what's going to happen with the VIX. Like, you could see a little bounce, but overall, VIX should sell off very hard. When it triggers dark blue, it tends to be done. So I'm going to leave it off at that. Things are a tad bit tricky right now, but the setups will come. There's going to be great opportunities, and that's currently what I'm watching. In terms of mark, the best price for the gap close reversal would be at 90.54. I'm sure there's going to be more things to come along towards the market open. So things are going to get interesting. So from here, it's mainly going to be seeing how things react with the Fed, seeing if there's going to be new gaps to fill, how it reacts at the reversals. In terms of SPY, 416.38 is the make it or break it level. If 416.38 cracks, it sells off. If it bounces, has a reversal, it rips. If it can turn 417 into support, it's going to fly into the 420s. So think of 416, 416.38 as your key levels for tomorrow. 414 is a key make it or break it level, support level, right? So we went over the levels. Just to clarify one last time, 416.38, if it cracks, it goes to 414. If 414 cracks, it sells off hard to like 410. If 416.38 holds, then it's going to have a reversal, and it's going to start to pop back up to 418.70s. If that breaks out, then we head into 420s, on track for a gap fill to 427.81. Best price for puts is going to be 427.81. So that's my thoughts. That's my analysis. The market has been on absolute fire. There's been so many amazing setups. We got to do a little reset. We're towards the middle of the channel right now. So we got to wait for these best prices to come around. We got to wait for these, gap close reversals to come around. So we just got to wait things out. The trades are going to come, but we got to wait things out, guys. We got to take it a little bit slow from here, and we got to see how the market reacts after the speeches, right? I don't like holding through speeches because whatever they can say can manipulate the market. And in terms of SPY's price action today, there was a lot of manipulation in the morning. I'm really just going to be laser focused on trading stocks. I really only want to trade SPYs at the best prices possible. 405 gap close reversal here, 52-week lows, that was a no-brainer situation. 427.81 gap close reversal, that's going to be a good trade, right? So I'm trading the gap close reversals. I'm not just trying to trade based off of history, based off of price action, support, resistance, supply and demand zones. If I were laser focused and just trading the best setup, I would have had a phenomenal trade on Visa today. The only reason why I didn't take it is because I was looking at SPY. Moving forward, I'm not going to let SPY affect my trades with my best strategy. If it looks like it's going to work in my favor with the best strategy, but SPY looks like it's going to do the inverse and I'm worried about SPY following it, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to take the trade moving forward. The reason why I didn't take this Visa put trade is because SPY was looking micro bullish at the time, and I was worried that it would follow. Moving forward, as long as it's the best setup, the best strategy, I'm not going to let SPY or the market analysis affect my trades. That's something that I'm going to be doing moving forward, because this would have been like an A1 phenomenal opportunity. The puts absolutely printed on Visa today. These were up a bunch. 266%. Some of these were up a lot today. Yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my analysis. We just got to wait for things to play out. The market's not going to be on fire every single day, and we're towards the middle of the channel. So we got to wait for these best key levels hit that I've explained. In terms of VERU though, if we can get some sort of bounce, I'd be willing to buy puts. We got to see maybe towards like 960. If 960 to 1030 reacts as a resistance, I'd be willing to play puts on it. I think it's going to go lower within time. This is very, very macro bearish as well. So yeah, that's where I stand right now within the market in my analysis. So if you do want to be a part of Trader Society, it's going to be that first link down below in the description. So click that first link, read everything on the page, watch the short video, and you'll understand if the program's right for you. You'll understand everything that's included for the program. It is instant access. Once you sign up, you get instant access, and it's also lifetime access, right? So you're grandfathered in for a lifetime. Even when the price goes up, you'll be grandfathered in at this one-time fee, at this one-time price. Now is the best time to get in. Within some time, we will be drastically raising the prices. We've had members get some insane results. We have a couple 6 figures traders in here, and we have one trader who's made nearly 9 figures. So with that being said, if you are looking to learn how to trade price action, how to trade these unique gap trading strategies that I've created, that we're consistently using to profit within the market. We're trading like snipers. We're getting in, we're getting out. We're using these square boxes, these zones, to know when to take profits, to know when the stock is going to reverse, when we have to get out, right? If you're tired of giving back all your money within the market, if you're tired of not locking in gains, this is going to help you exponentially determine your risk involved before you take the trade, and when you enter the trade, your risk of holding, right? It's going to help you so much in terms of key levels to be locking in profits, how to identify when that stock is going to have a reversal. We're literally setting trend reversals. I mean, just look at what Visa did with the watch list, right? That's consistency. If you watch that second link in the description, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with that video. But yeah, you get lifetime access to the video lesson library, where you learn the gap trading strategies, where you also learn mindset and psychology and risk management and position sizing. So you get the entire trading system within the program, right? And we're trading like snipers, and you could surround yourself with a group who trades like a sniper with simple gap trading strategies. We're targeting these gaps, we're targeting these reversals, we're setting the trend. That's what sets us apart. We set the trend. We get in before the reversal. We get in before everyone hops in. So with that being said, you get access to that. You also get access to the chat room, and you can add us as a friend on the Discord server, send us private one-on-one direct messages, and most importantly, you get access to the live trading streams. So imagine trading live with us every single day at market open, where you see my live portfolio, you see my open positions, you get the live commentary, you see me breaking down the charts, trading live. I answer your questions live on spot. That is every single day. The market is open Monday through Friday. With that being said, and you also get access to the recordings. So if you missed a live stream and you want to check it out for the educational value, if you want to go back and rewatch it, right, take notes, learn the strategy, see how I trade live in real time, you can do that. You get access to all the webinar recordings, right? And you also get access to, within the chat room, the watch list, the stock analysis, my trade ideas, you can ask me questions, and the real-time trade alerts. There's a lot to it. If you want to check it out, it's the first link in the description. You can get started working with us as soon as tomorrow morning. I will see you guys within the chat. The watch list and the new updates will be posted tomorrow morning, and I will be trading live market open tomorrow. So I'll see you guys till then. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for choosing to invest your time into your education.